priors, arrested for raping and robbing a 43-year-old woman while she was jogging. The Republican hopeful, who wants to send New York Governor Kathy Hochul packing, is laying out the stakes for voters.
The status quo isn't working. While you and I are here talking about the need to take back our streets, she says that she doesn't understand why it is so important to me. That's what she said at the debate when I was talking about the need to lock up criminals. This is about the attacks on safety, on wallet, on freedom, on our kids' education. We have to turn things around in this state. Kathy Hochul's not getting a job done. I will.
Zeldin's warning comes as violence gets even more out of control. 9 people were shot outside a bar in Philly, and cops are looking for multiple gunmen. Nearly 600 people killed in Lori Lightfoot's Chicago so far this year, but all she seems to care about is getting famous on TikTok. Even liberal MSNBC anchors are getting scared. Watch one confront Kathy Hochul.
No governor has spent more money than I have on public safety in history.
Okay, but I'm going to interrupt you then. Here's the problem. We don't feel safe. You might be working closely with Mayor Adams. You may have spent a whole lot of money, but I walk into my pharmacy and everything is on lockdown because of shoplifters. I'm not going in the subway. People don't feel safe in this town. So you may have done these things, but right now we're not feeling good. We're worried we could be San Francisco.
We'll never be San Francisco.
Why?
Because we are already making a difference.
This sounds like an intervention, Greg.
Well, hello, Stephanie Ruhle. Somebody finally is doing her own errands. We've been talking about this for how long? We've been talking about, we actually go out onto the street and buy our toothpaste. We knew. This is why I always say, like, they should make it mandatory on those other networks to watch The Five before they go on, because it would help them. Because this stuff is what we were talking about. Do you remember that when we were talking about crime, nobody else was? There were people that were laughing at us for doing crime. And I'm not basically saying I'm happy that we have crime. I'm just saying if you guys just listened to us, there was nothing political about it. We actually were worried about the country. Since the riots and the looting, we knew that there was going to be this mess. This is probably the most important governor's race, I think, because if New York votes that person back in after this disaster, I just don't know. And then she bragged about no one spent more money on safety than her. That's not a brag. You have no results. People are dying.
Yeah, then you're wasting our money.
You're wasting our money and you suck. So it's like she's awful. There are people dying because she wouldn't repeal a really basic law that is allowing people to die. It's a very important election.
How do you see New York turning out?
Well, I have to say, this is a very important state. It's an important city for the country. It's not the most important, obviously. But what you see happening in New York could happen all across the country. Progressive prosecutors, for example, that's something that can happen all across this country. And we know that it has, partly because we've seen it in Philadelphia, for example, in Los Angeles, and in certainly even in additional races that are happening right now on the local prosecutor level. So here's what I think. New York hasn't elected a Republican governor in 20 years. But I believe now the time is ripe, partly because you also not just have the governor's race, but you have several of the House races that are likely to go to Republican. I have a friend that works in Democratic politics. They're basically writing off all of the Long Island seats and most of the Hudson Valley seats as well. And that includes the DCCC chair, Sean Patrick Maloney. Why does that matter? He is the leader of the Democrats to try to get Democrats reelected to the House. And he's likely to be taken out by a Republican. So those Republican seats could push Zeldin up a little bit. But it's very close, it's very tight, and that's going to be a nail-biter on election night.
Does New York go red, Judge Jeanine?
I can only hope it goes red, and if you look at history, it very well might go for Lee Zeldin. I mean, obviously, I support him. Look, if you recall 20 years ago when George Pataki became governor of New York, which was a shock to everyone, taking out Mario Cuomo, it was at the height of the crime crisis. When Rudy Giuliani became mayor of New York City, it was at the height of the crime crisis. Look, while the Democrats talk about the end of the world and they talk about end of democracy, end of the world, all of us are afraid to come out of our homes and go shopping because it might be the end of us if we go to a store or if we get on the subway or if we catch a cab. It's too dangerous. And so I think that while the Democrats show their total misalignment with the people of this state, you've got a clueless, hopeless governor who is more interested in putting money into a Buffalo stadium where her husband has the concessions, more interested in some microchip factory somewhere where the average job would be $600,000 or something because it's for all the high paying people. She's just clueless about what's going on. And for her to say it's all in Lee Zeldin's mind, and for her to think so little of us, she's like a Marie Antoinette saying, let the meat take. You know, we did enough for them. She needs to go.
Harold, you going to make 600 grand making chips upstate?
I'm not sure that's what it is, but I sense that what you're saying is what a lot of voters are saying. They may not think of the $600,000 number. Democrats, this show has been talking about it. Greg, you're absolutely right. You can't malign all Democrats. I've been as outspoken on this issue, and I am a Democrat. If we lose the governor's race in New York, and if we lose some other governor's races across the country, and even some mayoral races across the country, it will be because of this issue. People, you can't tell someone they're safe if they don't feel safe. Now, I still go out. I still go to the drugstore. I still take the subway, but I'm looking over my shoulder. I'm concerned. I'm worried. And I won't take my kids with me. These are issues that every New Yorker feels. Now, if Lee Zeldin were pro-choice, he'd be 15 points ahead. This race is a tight race, and I got to tell you, it's a jump ball. And crime is the issue, and if it continues to drive voters out of the next 2 days, you could have a shocker here in New York.
All right, well, I'm predicting a Zeldin win, and you can take that to the bank. Literally, take it to the bank.
Can you? What do you do when you get there?
Literally.
When
What do you get?
bank.